in front of people that can share a message is so important, because it makes you think about things. Like when you watch something, you think about it for maybe a while, but if you're standing in front of someone having a deep conversation about something, it's for a long time. And I think that's really important, like something that we should think about, definitely.
No, 100%. I saw someone in the comments ask like what the show's called. So just a reminder, we're talking about The Trials. It's at the Donmar Warehouse in London. The Trials in London. So just get into your search engine, Ecosia, if you want to be a little bit more eco-friendly, and search for it and get your tickets. There's actually free tickets available for young people too. And I love the word you use, immerse. It feels like we live in such a culture where it's so difficult to retain someone's attention. I feel like the difference between theatre and a movie, for example, is there's no pause button, there's no phone call, house phone ringing in the back, there's no relatives walking through the room asking what you want for dinner. Do you know what I mean? It's like it feels like you really have this opportunity, this very unique opportunity and rare opportunity to connect with people, and immerse them into this experience. So I think huge kudos to what you guys are doing, and working in this space, it's people like you that give, I'm sure speaking for Rob as well, give us kind of hope for the future as well. So we super appreciate you guys.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you too. And we were just saying, we were like stalking your TikTok just before we went live, and we were like enthralled by all the videos and content you were creating.
If you don't hear it on the news, like this is the way that you can like interact and know more, which I think is really important.
No, really appreciate that. And that actually leads me really well onto my next question. Who are your favorite kind of eco creators on TikTok? And I'll probably go back to Rob to answer this one, if you want to go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really big fan of what you make, Sam. So, but I can't pick you because that would be a bit too obvious. So I'm actually going to go with a girl called Lara Adkins, and she's a really big advocate of buying secondhand clothes, and she creates these incredible high energy videos of her dancing and showing off outfits and showing how you can take one piece of clothing and use it in multiple different styles, which I really love, because I think a lot of the issues around fashion is that you have one outfit, you use it, you wear it a few times, and then it might go in the bin or whatever you do with it. So yeah, she creates these really, really cool videos, so I'd recommend following her. Lara Adkins was her name.
Sweet. What about you two?
Not gonna lie, Sam, I'm your biggest fan. We're your biggest fans. We love the content, and we were literally we were talking about in Kenya, the buns, like what they're doing with the buns, and like how you can actually buy one, or you can invest and and help get one made, and we were just saying about that. That's
so cool. It's a really good way to feel like you can change things. Like you can't just be sitting there in your room, because you can change things even if you're not there. It's really cool.
Yeah, so that company was, thank you firstly and foremost. That company's called Just Dig It, and I highly recommend checking out their website. You can, if you don't go now, wait till this live's over, because we want viewers. But after this, go and check out one of the pinned videos. It's about this initiative in Kenya, helping to basically re-green Kenya. It's super awesome, and yeah, definitely go check that out. And on the eco, you obviously mentioned, Rob, your favorite eco creator. What's your favorite kind of eco hack that you've learned?
Yeah, so I'm a really big fan of the feeling you get from not throwing something away and reusing it. And I think one of my favorite things is lemons. So lemons are really good at cleaning stuff, and you use them a lot in food, but don't throw them away, because actually if you take a lemon, you've used it in whatever dish you made, if you pop it in your kettle and you boil it, it will actually descale the kettle. So that's a really good kind of hack that I have. It's also really good for cleaning. So if you put it in some vinegar in a spray bottle and then leave it overnight, you've got your own cleaning spray. So you're saving a bit of money, and you're sort of saving that waste as well. So that would be one of my favorite kind of eco hacks.
When life gives you lemons, make sustainable cleaning products. That's the saying. That's how the saying goes. I'm actually going to double up on this question. So what's your favorite eco hack? And with the production that you're in, has sustainability been taken into account with that? And if so, how have those sustainable hacks been used? What have you seen anything on set which you're okay, that's cool, we're doing our part? So personal, and then on set, what are your kind of the eco hacks that you're living and seeing at the moment?
I'll go first. I love vintage shopping, and also warehouse shopping. I'll go into a warehouse, you can pay 10 quid on the outskirts of London, and then you just get it by the kilo or by the 2 kilo, and I think that's the best way. I think I haven't shopped in a fast fashion place in like years now because of, I think it's also the trend. I think it's really trendy now to go and shop at like charity shops and vintage stores. But that's my favorite eco hack because it's just cool like seeing clothes from way back when and wearing them.
Yeah, I'd say the same. Like, I go to car boot sales a lot because I think it's so much better for the environment. And I don't see how it like takes a toll on someone's fashion sense. Like, you can still express yourself and help the environment, which is really fun and great.
And then regarding the production, this production has made like, it's probably the most sustainably made production I've done probably. I think we were discussing it earlier on. If I'm right, am I right? Yeah, it's literally like the first where there's been this hyper awareness of like sustainability. So that's from the sets, the costumes, to like what we're doing every day.
Things we eat.
Things we're eating. Like we had a lunch last week and it was all like vegan foods.
Yeah.
Amazing.
All like really sustainable and eco-friendly and conscious. And I think that's a big part of this production as well, is like we've been so aware, not only with the script and with the art of it, but also behind the scenes, backstage, every part of the play and the production has been sustainably made. And that's why that's a really exciting thing, I think, because I don't think it's been done. And we also have a green captain. So in the cast, we have like we've allocated someone to be like aware and like
voice our views, and then he will like bring it up to the company and hopefully make a change.
Yeah. First ever green captain, I think, in theatre ever, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah,
you can't quote me on that.
Also, we reuse chairs and stuff from other productions, which I think is really good because there's a lot of other things.
From Henry V, which was the last. Kit Harington, you know Kit Harington, the actor. You know, no, not Game of Thrones guy.
Jon Snow.
I sat in the same chair as Kit Harington.
I maybe sat in the
same. We all sat in the same chair as Kit Harington.
No way. That's incredible. Like, it's just, again, you see a lot of like the Met Galas going fully vegan and people like wearing dresses, and it just becomes, like you said, becomes a bit of a trend. But there's so many more reasons, like buy secondhand. I think it's this t-shirt I'm wearing is like 5 years old, but a new t-shirt's like 2,000 liters of water taken to make one cotton t-shirt. So just imagine the power we have when we just decide to not buy a new t-shirt and we buy one that's used and it's perfectly good to wear. And it's got some holes in it, but maybe put a little creative patch over it and you get creative with it. It's also an opportunity to express your artistic side too. So I think it's a win for the planet and a win for you guys, and no one else on the street would have the same outfit as you if you customize it too. So upcycling, I love watching them upcycling videos of people like paint dungarees and all that jazz.
Yeah.
So talk about what you guys do. What's an everyday sustainable change we can all make?
Reuse plastic bags if you do have them. Like my family, we just have like a cupboard of plastic bags that we've had and we never buy them anymore. We just like take a few whenever we go shopping, which I think it's a really easy thing to do, but also it makes a bigger difference than you think, which I think that's a really good thing to do.
Yeah, I think I went to, I think it was in France, where I saw everyone was shopping with like boxes that they used, like kind of these crates, and that's how they shopped, and there was no like plastic seen anywhere. And I was like, whoa, this is so cool. And I think that's also like finding alternatives to plastic bags. That's a huge way. And then for me probably is cycling. Like I think if you live in a city or wherever you live, have a bike, it's a great alternative to kind of driving or taking any kind of transport that emits CO2, because cycling literally is just off your own power as a human, and I think that's cool. So I'd say cycling.
Yeah, 100. I think a lot, because a lot of these things like the buying secondhand, cycling, it feels like it's a win again for the planet, but you're getting exercise, you're getting out there. It's a shame you look at kind of America then and now, from like the 1920s to now, and a city like Houston would be packed with buildings, little neighborhoods, but now the automobile industry, obviously there's some politics and money have been thrown around. It's all just like car parks and roads. So we're so lucky, it feels like it, in kind of Europe, to have access to such good public transport. And I just hope that, big countries like America kind of take heed and do their own thing. Rob, what are you saying about your everyday sustainable change that everyone here, these 2,000 people watching, can make?
Well, I think, Will, what you said earlier about the production having vegan meals, like that's actually one of the biggest impacts you can have is switching your diet. It doesn't have to be fully vegan, but just making sure that you're eating more plant-based stuff, because meat is one of the biggest emitters in the world. But I think as well, like even if you're struggling to kind of go veggie or go vegan, like even switching something like beef to chicken is a really great start, because even that will reduce your emissions, because beef is, again, a really big polluter. So yeah, I think it's those little steps, and you don't want people to just snap their fingers and completely change overnight. But I think you need to gradually sort of ease yourself into it and go with what works for you, and kind of challenge yourself as well. So make sure if you say 1 week I'm not going to have any beef, maybe the next week don't have any pork, and then just see how far you can go with it, and eventually you'll be vegan by the end of the year, maybe.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And people watching, if you have like a sustainability thing that you do, something you just do day to day, it could be like composting, it could be, it was on TV the other day, I actually got asked to go on it as ITV. Like, do you even, if I live by myself, I don't flush the toilet. You know, if it's yellow, let it mellow. If it's brown, flush it down. You've heard that phrase. So for me, there was, there's all these little interesting things that if you drop a comment, like what is the kind of thing that you do at home to be a little bit more sustainable? And actually talking about positive measures, how do you think the play might be able to inspire people to take more positive measures in their day-to-day lives?
Joanna, do you think?
I think that anything in general, like any play to do with like climate change or just like in general, can make you like rethink things like in the future, like even small things. I think it's really really good, and I think if people do watch, they'll definitely rethink their lifestyle probably.
Yeah, I think it's quite I say personally, it's quite a shocking play, and it's a shocking piece, and it will really provoke people to think more about what they do as individuals, but also collectively, to combat kind of climate and the crisis. And I think it's a very individual. I think everyone watching this play will have a different relationship and reaction, and I think mostly it will be inspiring people to do more. Yeah. I think that's the main thing.
Awesome, yeah, and just if anyone's new watching, we're talking about The Trials, which is a play at the Donmar Warehouse in London. Donmar Warehouse, The Trials. These two amazing people are in it, so search that, write that down on a little scrap of paper, and check it out after we finish this live. So just a reminder of that. One more question about the play. What's your favourite line from the play? Like, is it something you deliver, or is it something you're going to keep secret so people have to come and find out? Like, yeah, what's your favourite line?
It's a really good question. There's a few swear words, so obviously we won't say them, but there's a couple of like lines that are driven with a lot of anger and passion, and I think I like them, but I won't say them now.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you'll find out.
You'll find out when you see. But there's a lot of little gems in there.
Yeah, there's like really great lines, because Dawn King is like such an amazing writer. So like all of
Yeah. Oh yeah. We should say quickly what the play's about for all the viewers as well.
Yeah, sure. I can go ahead, or if you want to do it from your perspective, it's up to you. What do you want to do?
Yeah, we'll give a quick 60-second rundown of like what it is. I'll do 30 seconds and then you do 30. Okay. So there's 3 defendants, and there's a group of young people. Okay, I'll start again. There's a group of people under the age of 18, from 12 to 18, and this is set 20 years in the future, and they are a jury, meaning they have to see whether these 3 adults who are much older, and see whether they are guilty or not for what they did and didn't do in the climate crisis, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so it's about a bunch of people that come together and judge these 3 adults and what they did, and then you like hear the defense statements, and it's just like a roller coaster of emotions, because you see the different perspectives from different people, and also you find out new things that maybe could happen in the future, possibly.
And we are the people, like our age group now, and your age group, and the 3-4 generations that are currently living are the people that will be put on trial in the play. So that 20 years in the future.
So we will be the adults.
We would be the adults, yeah.
No way. We'll have to do a live on TikTok in 20 years' time and see if that's a reality or not. No, thanks so much for doing that. Yeah, I've seen a few people ask as well. Yeah, it's in London. The Trials. Go check it out. It sounds, every time you speak about it, it just sounds even more and more amazing. I'm going to go to Rob, because I feel like you've been quiet for a little while, and I'm going to ask a very deep question. Do you ever experience climate anxiety? And if so, how do you handle it?
Yeah, I'll be honest. I think everyone probably experiences it in some shape or form, but for me, it definitely comes in waves. You know, someday you forget about it, and other days it's really front and center. And I think it's really important dealing with it that you do just give yourself a break sometimes. You know, switch off social media. You know, tune off from the news and just get out in nature. That's a really good part of your well-being, is like, number one, being out in nature, being out, you know, walking, cycling, swimming, whatever it is, running even, will really help your mental health. But also it reminds you what we're fighting for. Like, you want to make sure that these green spaces, these fields, these beautiful, you know, the UK has some really beautiful landscapes, so making sure you're out in that, enjoying it, will make you want to fight more for it. But also, I think there's little changes you can make. Like, there's quite a lot of power as an individual that we have, and I think one of the biggest things you can do is switching your bank. That kind of gives you the power back, because a lot of the bank accounts that we have at the moment are being invested in fossil fuels. So without you really knowing it, you're actually contributing to the issue. But if you switch your bank account to a green one, then they won't be investing in that, and they'll be investing in your future. So yeah, that would be a big kind of recommendation for me. If you're feeling anxious about it and want to claim back some power, then yeah, a big step you can do is switching your bank account. But also take a break, get out, talk about it with your friends and family. That's important as well. Like, just sharing how you're feeling, because they'll be feeling the same in some shape or form. So talk about it, have a break, and change that bank account.
Awesome. Yeah, 100%. I think, you know, just having like a flower garden where like bees and other pollinators can come and use, and you just kind of watch them at work, and they don't know kind of what's happening around the world, but they're just like working hard to kind of, you know, keep us fed. 1 in every 3 bites of food we eat is thanks to bees. So that's just a little bit of a bee plug in this live for everyone. Bees are super important. So, but yeah, then you develop more compassion for nature and a desire to protect it and stuff. So 100% a valid way thing you just said. What about you two? What is your do you ever experience climate anxiety, and how do you deal with it?
Yeah, I'd say I experience it like all the time, especially because like we're starting to see like more visible signs of it. It becomes more like in your face and like something you can't just hide away from. I think it's really important to like find things that you can do and can make you feel like you are doing something, and then slowly just take things one day at a time, and you know, see what happens. You can always do more for the environment. So even finding like little eco hacks that you can do from like content creators can like help a lot with that.
Yeah, I think expanding from that, the play is obviously very. We're talking about climate and the crisis and the kind of it's quite heavy, is what I'm trying to say. And we go into work every day, and have been for the last few weeks, and every day it's quite a heavy topic to be talking about. But we've found as a company ways. Literally today we just kind of danced, like, yeah. They put on some Lizzo and we just danced for like 10, and it was really fun. And I think finding those things to kind of come back to earth and know that it is a day to day that we can combat. It is so much bigger than all of us, this crisis, but kind of coming back down to earth and thinking about what we can do on a day to day basis. And that I think that's the best way to kind of combat, for me certainly, and as a company, that's what we've been trying to do.
It really helped us all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big responsibility you guys have had to go through. There's a lot of, like you said, it's heavy to kind of, even if you're kind of acting and, you know, becoming a different person almost, you're still taking in that information, and it's like, this could be a reality in the future. And like, what, you know, there's all that panic and stuff. So, but just a huge credit to you two for taking that in and being these ambassadors for like inspiring positive change, you know, but also, like you said, just make sure you are taking rest. Like Rob said, if you feel the need to take a day off and just go for a walk, you know, just feel free. Like you 100% deserve it, and you're worthy of rest. And we need you to actually rest, because we need you in the fight against the climate crisis. You're two massive personalities and people in that space. So just like 100% keep doing what you're doing. Talking about the play again, what did you learn about yourself during it? So obviously we talked a bit about that, of taking it on. Is there any kind of life reflections you've learned about yourself and also the climate crisis when you were rehearsing?
I feel like now I realize that I have more power than I think, and that everybody, like every individual, has more power in this situation. And it feels good to like be able to that power, that I can like change my future, and I have a way to do so, which I think is what I've learned.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think it's very it's been very empowering actually, because it's such a poignant piece, and for me, I just think, yeah, just a sense of empowerment, and it's inspired me, and it's made me very conscious actually, eco-conscious. I think I'm much more eco-conscious than I was even just a few weeks ago before I started the play.
That's incredible. And we have around 10 minutes left. So the last question to both of you, we'll go to Rob first on this one. If you could share one universal message to the world about the climate crisis, what would it be and why?
I'm going to be a bit cheeky and share two, if I'm honest. I think the first one
with the TikTok people sent me this question. Yeah,
I feel like we've thank you. We've been like alluding to this, and I think we get a lot of comments about, you know, oh, corporations, they cause so much more like pollution and celebrities and all this, but like the individual does matter. Like if we collectively all came together and all made one simple change, the impact of that would be incredible. So I don't honestly believe 1 second that we should give up just because countries, corporations and celebs pollute more than us or whatever. You have a lot of power as an individual. You have a lot of power as a consumer as well, where you buy stuff, where you put your money, things like that. But also don't be defeatist. Like we've come a long way in 10 years. You know, we're going in the right direction in terms of the solutions are out there. That new package that was signed off by Biden, everyone thought it was dead in the water. This one guy was holding it up, and now it's going to go through law. So I think that kind of stuff, it can change overnight and it can change instantly. And like I said before, talk about it with your friends. The more we kind of infiltrate this stuff, the more it's in theatre, the more it's on TV, the more it's in music and all the kind of popular spheres that everyone, you know, ingests. Just make sure it's there. You're talking about it. There's conversations going on, because that's where we create change. And the more it's front and center, the more people that are protesting, the more people that are talking about why they love being vegan or why they've given up flying, whatever it might be, that's the stuff that makes people think about it. It you know, makes them want to change as well. So I think individuals matter and don't be defeatist are my two main messages for the world.
Incredible. How about you two? What is one universal message to share with the world about the climate crisis, and what would it be and why?
For me, I think if I could kind of paraphrase, put it into tiny kind of mottos, I think keeping your eyes open, staying aware, and then acting on that. Mm-hmm. If I could condense it. I mean, there's a lot I would say, but I just think that's the simplest way to put it for me.
I'd say that like the time is now to take action. Like we have time now. We still have like it's late. So I think as long as we act now, then, you know, we could still save our future and the planet's future and animals' futures.
Yeah, I mean, with every, you know, degree of warming, you know, we act now, that's millions of people saved. So it's just, you know, we have the power to make that difference. Like you said, if you get, you know, the next play, if you guys do another play, and you turn up, you're like, hey, we want plant-based meals, and I want to reuse Kit Harington's chair again. It's like, you know what I mean? You can demand that change. And if you're in a job and the default option is a beef burger, which you can be like, hey, where's the vegetables? Do you know what I mean? So we can have so much power. And if we all just come together as a community, imagine if communities came together and shared resources. Like we didn't have to buy one individual lawnmower for every house, and every house didn't have to have 2 or 3 cars. And the reason it's that way is because a lot of people are making a lot of money by people consuming a lot of stuff that they necessarily don't need. But if we come together, not only are we saving money, we're saving the environment, and we're also connecting with people as well. So I guess that's my kind of follow-on/answer. I don't know if I was supposed to answer some of these with you, but anyway, that's one of my answers. It's too late now. That's the last question. I've screwed up. Anyway, I have a final statement and a CTA, which is a call to action. And some people have been asking, like, what's the play called? And if you guys do want to talk more about it after this kind of outro, you can. But the bullet point was key takeaways from the conversation. You know, when someone tweets something, it says, please copy this tweet, and then they copy that bit of the tweet and it goes out. I've kind of just done that. Okay, I'm going to round up the conversation because there's still like 1,500 people listening. We're talking about the trials, which is at the Donmar Warehouse in August in London. Get yourself down there. There's actually free tickets if you're between 16 and 25, I think on Wednesday the 17th. It was in my notes, but I have to scroll back up. But I'm pretty sure that's the right information. Check it out on Ecosia or any search engine. Google doesn't need any more money, so try and use like another search engine there. And the play runs from the 12th of August to the 27th of August. So actually, it's pretty soon, but also you got time if you need to shuffle some things around. The special Young and Free performances for age 16 to 25. I've said that. And young people can still sign up on the Donmar Warehouse website to ballot for free tickets until Wednesday. So Donmar Warehouse, thanks. We got, I know, 5 minutes left, but we can end it here. if there's any final kind of calls to action or anything you want to say. I see you guys are getting a lot of love in the comments. Me and Rob, not so much, but lots of nice comments about you guys. Is there anything you guys want to share with everyone?
No, just thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And I really appreciate your time for listening in to this conversation. And I think it's really, really important we're having these conversations. And it's important we need to use our collective voice to kind of voice these conversations. So thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And thank you for all your kind words on this TikTok Live. Thank you. And thanks to Sam and Earthtopia. And Rob at Earthtopia. Rob, you had Earthtopia on the.
Yeah, it's fine. Call me that.
Earthtopia.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Thank
Awesome.
you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.